Good morning.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Disability Channel A Detroit. I am so excited to welcome our guest for today. She is again Ann Bradley, the Campaign Development Manager for Light the Night with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So, thank you so much, Ann, for joining us. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, it is an extreme pleasure. And of course, there is so much to cover with uh, the LLS. So I'd like to just jump in. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Fire away.
Wonderful. So, first of all, you earned a Bachelor's of Arts, Psychology, and International Studies from Northern Michigan University up there in the wonderful Marquette area. Beautiful up there in Northern Michigan. But I'm curious, what led you to sort of getting involved with the LSS?
Well, I've always been involved in the nonprofit sector, and it only took a few years to figure out where I wanted to be, and that is in development and fundraising and helping support the organizations that support those of us who need it most. So that's how I ended up with LLS.
Wow, that's amazing. And of course, you've done a wonderful job in your time there. But of course, too, the LLS has a tremendous event called Light the Night, and it's a walk that raise funds for treatments that are basically saving lives. And of course, the LLS is basically making cures happen by providing patient support services and advocating for life-changing treatments for those with blood cancers and other forms of cancer and other forms of treatment. And of course, this year in the fall, many of the teams and their walkers in the community of Light the Night, where everyone gathers to celebrate and honor those who are touched by cancer. This year, the Detroit Light the Night Walk will be Thursday, September 30th, 2021 at 7 p.m. At the beautiful Hart Plaza in Detroit. But I'm curious, when did you first realize that you had a strong passion for life saving cancer research?
Well, unfortunately, cancer is everywhere in our community. It's 1 in 4 people is going to be affected by some kind of cancer in some capacity during their lifetime. So those are huge numbers. And I can almost guarantee that if I'm talking to someone, they have had a friend, a family member, a neighbor, a colleague who has been affected by cancer in some way. And LLS is something I'm passionate about because blood cancer research has really led the way in the cancer world. So LLS has funded 61 of 71 new cancer therapies since 2017 alone. It used to be great if you could get 1 or 2 drugs approved in a year, and this year 61. That's absolutely wonderful.
That's
And
incredible.
it really is. So if people are looking to make a difference in cancer work, if they are looking for a cure, LLS is really the place to do it. And that's what's kept me here. Over 80% of the funds we raise go directly to our mission of research, support for patients and families, and then advocacy to ensure access to these treatments when they happen.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, I mean, do you mind like how long has LLS been around?
LLS was actually started in 1949 by a family who lost their son to leukemia. In the 40s, if you were diagnosed with leukemia, the survival rate was about 5%. It was basically a death sentence. And they found this unacceptable. They didn't want any family to go through what they had. And they founded the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And today we look at leukemia, lymphoma, and we have survival rates over 90%, over 95% in some cases. That's incredible. In 70 years, we've gone from a death sentence to 95% survivable. That speaks right there to the efficacy of what we're doing.
Well, absolutely. I mean, just unbelievable. The gains that you guys have made in research, in treatments, in different things, and in relatively short time. I mean, especially with something as vicious as cancer. And of course, I myself, growing up, one of my best friends, passed away of leukemia when I was young. So it does affect many people in many different ways, and it's one of the ongoing battles that we're continuing to fight.
That's
So,
right. And still, yeah, every 3 minutes, another person is diagnosed with blood cancer. So it's still happening, and about a third of patients don't survive 5 years after diagnosis. So while we have made excellent progress, there's still a lot of work to be done, and that's why I'm here.
absolutely. Well, and I want to talk a little bit more too about just you yourself, and then of course the mission, because I think that the mission statement that you have is just so powerful. So of course, as we mentioned, you're currently the campaign development manager for Light the Night with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and simply put, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, or LLS, as we've alluded to, is the global leader in the fight against cancer. And, I wanted to bring up the mission because, again, I think it's important. So, the LLS mission is to, quote, cure leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease, and mesothelioma and improve the quality of life for patients and their families. And of course, LLS funds life saving blood cancer research around the world and provides free information and support services. And it is the voice for all blood cancer patients seeking access to quality, affordable, and coordinated care. But I wanted to know, specifically from someone like you, who has been with the organization and, of course, has a passion for it, in your own words, Anne, why is this mission important?
This mission is important because, as I said, 1 in 4 people is going to deal with the cancer. That's too many people. And as long as cancer exists, LLS is going to be there to make sure that we're figuring out cures and treatments. One of the best things that we've been doing in the past few years is our children's initiative. We have devoted over $1 billion in 10 years of promised funding because you might not know, I didn't know until about a year or 2 years ago that there have been very few advancements in treatment for children's cancer since the 1980s. So, if we're giving children chemotherapy drugs, we're basically giving them smaller amounts of what we give to adults. And lots of kids who survive childhood cancer may end up with lifelong medical issues. They might have survived cancer, but then have these additional issues to deal with lifelong. So LLS has funded our children's initiative, and we're really paving the way. We have a coalition of pharmaceutical companies, colleges, private equity firms, and things like that. We're basically bringing everybody together to make sure that our most vulnerable people, our kids who are dealing with cancer, have better treatments, better outcomes, and not lifelong effects. Just because you have cancer in childhood doesn't mean it should be a life sentence for you.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, you know, for those viewers who are a bit naive, I mean, obviously some cancers, are genetic, but then others develop. So, are there any, I guess, precautions that people can do in terms of, pre-diagnosis or prevention?
That's a great question. And that's why blood cancer is so scary because right now we're not sure what causes it. And this is after progress we've seen. It's been 70 years and there is still no prevention, no clear cause of these blood cancers. So we devote all of our time and resources to finding cures. And that in turn has led to all of this progress. So not only have we seen survival rates go up for blood cancer, LLS has funded 40% of all anti cancer treatments that exist.
Mm.
So, right now, if you have 18 different kinds of cancer, everything from breast, lung cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, to things like MS, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, the drugs that are used to treat those issues, a lot of times were started with LLS funded projects. So, because we can't do anything to prevent it at this time, because we don't have a clear understanding of the causes, we are able to progress treatments a lot faster.
Absolutely. And folks, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have more with Anne Bradley of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.